Hi all, Nanette here with Potential Actually. COVID has certainly changed our world and our views of our world. During these uncertain times where, in some cases, we're completely cut off from our support network, maintaining good mental health has become a challenge even for folks who may never have experienced mental health issues before. There's no doubt the pandemic has caused a spike in mental health issues, and stress is often a culprit at the root of a lot of mental health issues. Stress worms its way into our lives and undermines everyone's mental health, and by extension, our physical and social health. That's why this series focuses on stress management techniques, using a combination of science and ancient wisdom to bring practical techniques you can easily incorporate into your daily life. This video focuses on key elements to maintaining a healthy mind. Just like you need a mix of different foods from all major food groups for optimal physical health, your mind needs a variety of different activities every day to help it stay healthy. We'll look at these elements and how mindset overall can influence your mental health. Just as having a healthy body helps you to fight off diseases that afflict you physically, having a healthy brain can help you fight off a range of mental afflictions. Keeping your brain in a state of optimal performance also helps you to better manage your stress levels and overall mood. As I mentioned, your brain needs a variety of activities to stay fit and healthy. Dr. David Rock and Dr. Dan Siegel collaborated on an effort they call the Healthy Mind Platter. They felt many aspects of modern life cause people to experience, as they put it, a deficit in a daily regime necessary for mental well-being. So, to combat this, they came up with 7 daily mental activities to facilitate better overall mental well-being. The 7 activities include focus time. When we closely focus on tasks in a goal-oriented way, we take on challenges that make deep connections in the brain. Playtime. When we allow ourselves to be spontaneous and creative, playfully enjoying novel experiences, we help make new connections in the brain. Connecting time. When we connect with other people, ideally in person, and when we take time to appreciate our connection to the natural world around us, we activate and reinforce the brain's relational circuitry. Physical time. When we move our bodies, aerobically if medically possible, we strengthen the brain in many ways and help to work through stress that we hold in our body. Time in. When we quietly reflect internally, focusing on sensations, images, and feelings and thoughts, we help to better integrate the brain. Downtime. When we are non-focused, without any specific goal, and let our mind wander or simply relax, we help the brain recharge. And finally, sleep time. When we give the brain the rest it needs, we consolidate learning and recover from the experiences of the day. There aren't specific recommended amounts of time for each activity. What everyone requires is very individual and will change over the course of your life. Instead, they recommend considering what your ideal day or week would look like. How much time would you like to be putting into each of these areas? And then look at where you're actually putting in time. This will help you to identify where you have imbalances and areas where you might want to focus on setting aside more time in your day for certain activities. Where can you repurpose time in your day to help you have more varied mental activities? For example, I found when waiting at the elevator, I was often drawn into looking at my phone. I made a point of stopping this behavior so I could allow myself to participate in more downtime. I actually found this super helpful because when I stopped checking my phone regularly, it also helped my stress levels to go down. If you've watched the documentary on Netflix, The Social Dilemma, it may come as no surprise that I found I was being triggered in many ways by the social media I was engaging in on my phone. Also, when I didn't have my head buried in my phone, I was more social with people who happened to be waiting. I made a surprising number of social connections at the elevator, and since I'm an extreme extrovert, this further helped my overall mood. I actually found this technique so successful that I started disconnecting from my phone in any sort of lineups I found myself in. Overall, it's been a very positive experience for me. So I challenge you to see what time in your life you can repurpose to engage in more healthy mental activities. While managing the activities your brain engages in are important, so is managing the overall tone of the thoughts in your mind. The Oxford Dictionary defines mindset as the established set of attitudes held by someone. Your attitudes and beliefs are like filters for your thoughts, and our thoughts influence our actions and behaviors. It's an interesting quirk of the human brain that we generally tend to hone in on things that support already ingrained beliefs. So, if you hold many negative attitudes and beliefs about yourself or others, your brain is primed to notice this playing out more and behave in a way that reinforces this as well. Whereas if you held more positive attitudes and beliefs, you'll tend to experience life more positively. We hold many beliefs. We have many different mindsets on a range of topics and issues. We can have a whole mindset around stress and our own capability to manage our stress. If we tend to believe stress is really bad, we'll view it as a threat. And in this way, we start a negative cycle of stressing about our stress and being stressed. Not only can this cycle get really out of control, it often tends to mean that we behave in ways that cause us to attempt to suppress our stress. And suppression is a really poor long-term strategy to managing stress and our emotions. It makes us and those around us more stressed. However, if we take the approach that some stress can be good and help us grow, then we are more often comfortable and confident in approaching and dealing with stress. So what is this mindset and how do you cultivate it to help you better manage your stress? Dr. Carol Dweck and her colleagues were very curious about why some students were able to rebound after failure, while others responded to the same failure with devastation and gave up. After many years of research, her and her colleagues coined the terms growth and fixed mindset to describe two main mindsets that drive our beliefs about our own capabilities. Essentially, growth mindset means a person believes in their own intelligence and that talents can be learned and honed, and that they can stretch themselves to learn and become more. Whereas fixed mindset is characterized by the belief that talent and ability are fixed and limited. Those with growth mindsets are generally better able to manage stress, partly because they believe they are capable of managing or learning how to better manage, and also partly because they see setbacks and challenges in life as opportunities to learn and grow. Having a growth mindset is not some Pollyanna-ish belief that the world is made up of rainbows and lollipops and sunshine all the time, but rather that life is challenging and they are equipped for the challenge or can learn to be equipped for the challenge. Also, that taking on the challenge is a worthwhile endeavor because it will ultimately make them better. Science also supports this line of thinking. There's been a lot of discussion in neuroscience circles about the concept of neuroplasticity, which just means the brain is actually really good at forming new mental maps and connections. It's incredibly flexible and adaptable. There are many things we can learn if we believe we're capable. We can even change our own mindsets if we choose. We all have a little bit of growth and fixed mindset. It's good to explore what you have growth and fixed mindsets about. If you're curious whether you have an overarching leaning towards one or the other, you can pick up Carol Dweck's book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, or get it from the library and take her quiz. Even if you have a more growth-focused mindset, you can always apply any of these to areas where you would like to have more of a growth mindset or where you find that you might have a fixed mindset about something. In order to grow your fixed mindset, you want to focus on acknowledging and embracing imperfection, embracing challenges in your life, seeking approval more from yourself than others, challenging how you think about talent and intelligence, viewing failure and setbacks in terms of what they are meant to teach you and apply those lessons moving forward, asking for feedback or looking for ways to build feedback in when you're learning something new, following your curiosities, challenging yourself to learn something new, recognizing that sometimes life is more about the journey than the destination, and being mindful of the thoughts that dominate your life and your self-talk. It can be challenging to change mindsets. Many of them go deep and are strongly reinforced. It requires a lot of patience and faith in yourself, but it is possible if you stick with it, and the benefits are huge. You can also change mindsets one belief at a time by challenging outdated beliefs or beliefs that no longer serve you. Personally, I've found Byron Katie's work on turnarounds to be one of the most powerful tools for tackling beliefs in my life that I want to change. The process goes like this. First, choose a belief you want to work on and ask yourself, is this belief true? Your knee-jerk reaction is going to be to defend it and look for instances where it is true. It's going to require a lot of self-compassion and really digging deep and being pretty honest with yourself to explore where the statement actually is not true. So move past that initial reaction, that knee-jerk reaction to defend it, and then start looking for ways actively that it hasn't played out to be true. Next, explore what happens when you believe this thought. What are the reactions, sensations, emotions it brings up? Does it bring you peace? Does it bring you stress? How do you treat others when you're holding this belief? How do you treat yourself? How is this belief potentially limiting or harming you or others? It's important when you're doing this exploration to step back a little bit so that you're actually exploring the emotions, but not necessarily participating in all the emotion and story that's there. So you may have to do this over several sessions in order to maintain the level of distance, to be an observer of it and take note of what's coming out without getting drugged down into all of it. The third step is to explore who you would be without this belief. How does your experience in daily life change? What would be different in how you react and treat others and yourself? What does future you look like when you don't hold this belief? The next step is to start doing the turnarounds and to create turnaround statements for your belief. And you're going to create three. You'll create a self turnaround, an other turnaround, and an opposite turnaround. So let's look at an example. Let's say you're angry at your spouse and your statement is, she or he hurt me. A self turnaround would be, I hurt me. This helps you to look at and take ownership over where you've instigated or been a part of this whole scenario. Another turnaround would be, I hurt him or her. Again, this helps you to take some ownership over where you played a role in this part of it. It generally takes two to tango. Where are you feeding this? Where did you maybe do something or trigger that other person? Were you being overreactive in that particular instance because of some other things that might have been going on? And then finally, the opposite turnaround would be, she or he didn't hurt me, or she or he helped me. Perhaps you did have an overreaction, and this is helping you to see that. Or perhaps the argument is bringing up other sensitivities or beliefs that you didn't notice that you were holding on to, and this is actually helping you to dig in and see some of that. The final step that I like to take is to write out the belief I want to adopt instead. And it's helpful to have a sticky note with the belief or some other way of reminding yourself to change that, so that as that belief statement starts to come up, you're going to start to overwrite it with the one that you want to have. The steps to belief changing are not overly difficult, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a lot of hard work. It requires you to be super honest with yourself, especially as you begin to examine the turnarounds. And it might reveal some aspects of you that you don't totally love. However, when we call them out, that's when we can start to change them. One of my favorite authors, Brene Brown, I think says it really well. When we deny the story, it defines us. When we own the story, we can write a brave new ending. This video has covered the 7 activities of a healthy mind, how important mindset is in managing our stress, how we can cultivate a growth-oriented mindset to combat stress, and finally, how we can start challenging and changing beliefs that are bringing more stress than peace to our life. I hope this video brings some practical solutions to help you in cultivating good mental health and challenging stagnant beliefs that may be holding you back from a deeper sense of fulfillment in some areas of your life. Thank you for joining, and happy meditating.